was unbelievable. Yeah.
Oh, God, I wish I was there. I would have loved to have been there.
And he had an EVP where he was trying to cross Jackie over with Peter, and there was this whole exchange, and you saw more than one blip. You saw everything going on there with the ghost radar, and then, of course, the Ovilus portion of that. And then you just saw that at this one point, everything start to dissipate and fade with the sensor hits and everything come down. Oh, and the tap replies, to what we were saying on the K2s, and they'd start up, but then, at the end, Mike Luke got a EVP of a little girl's voice just go, "Thank you," like that. When Mike said, "Hey, are you in the light? Are you with Peter?" And it just you just heard this "Thank you,"
Well, do you believe that she's passed? That she's moved on? Has she moved on?
Not that people are disappointed, paranormal groups, but it does seem that she is quite a bit less. There's still, from time to time, some EVP that does sound like little child's voices that I've heard from other paranormal groups over the past year, but not in the frequency, not in the vocalizations. We've certainly heard her vocalize as a family aboard the Queen Mary. Well, we know we're the only ones there, and when we all look at each other at the same time, that's when you just know, wow, you heard that, I heard that, and it's that voice, having a daughter of my own, you could pick her out of a crowd, and Jackie's the same way. She has a very distinct voice that, you can... Wayne Post pointed out, too, that, that's Bob Davis. If you go to parrotinvestigations.com, that's parrotinvestigations.com, he has side-by-side of Peter James' first vocalized communication with Jackie in the first class swimming pool, and when they captured, it was Bob Davis and Brian Clune of Planet Paranormal in the first class swimming pool on December 2008. During the same time as Dave Schrader's event, they captured a 17-minute vocalized communication with Jackie audibly, where and the thing about this is, and I don't know if you know this, Bob Davis had two government audio analysts compare the audio from Peter James of 1991, theirs from 2008, and they have a 14-point, or it was a 12 or a 14-point criteria that they looked for in the audio. And one concluded that it was a 7.8% match out of 10, the same child's voice from Peter's from 1991 and theirs from 2008. The other government audio analyst concluded that it was a 8.2% match out of 10, the same child's voice in both audio comparisons. And apparently a 6 is all that is required, a 6% match for a conviction in a court of law on audio comparisons. So essentially it's the same child's voice. He has them both there side by side.
Really? Now, you knew Peter, so did he feel that spirits could come and go? Even though they did finally move into the light, were they able to come back on their own free will?
It's that decision you got to make, that feeling, should I take this road or that road? And as Peter describes in his book, Can You Hear Me, that on his thoughts and theories, they are able to check in with you from time to time, as needed sometimes. And it's almost like when you go to clear them, as described too, that you can't just exclamate things on the outside to have things clear from your home or to coexist with them. You have to empower yourself and feel something from the inside, and they can sense that too, that I want you out of here under no other circumstances. Whether you're drawing from a character in a movie or at a concert, you feel that surge of something that you need them to go. You can't be plastic on the outside, on the inside, and exclamate from the outside and have something come about or be fruitful. It's the same way with them, knowing that you have a worry or something that they can sense and draws them back towards you to steer you in a direction or to check in with you at a time when needed. And Peter felt very well that way, that they can check in with you from time to time.
Did Peter believe in reincarnation?
As he describes in the book, and he touches on it, that he was more open to the fact of reincarnation than he was in earlier years. Now, what that means, I'm not 100% on that because I never got to ask him. But I don't have a full understanding of reincarnation with what Peter describes, but I do know his full explanation of what a ghost and what a ghost is. And that point where you move into the afterlife, and maybe it was that point of where Peter expresses, and he's one of the ones that are psychics within the field that are open and honest with you. Look, I don't have all the answers into, can't claim to, so I won't touch on an area I don't know 100% about unless I feel comfortable that I feel this way in a certain way. So maybe that was a reason he didn't go full well into the explanation
did he ever say, well, if you want to live again as a human, that you will be able to do that?
See, yeah, he's never fully said that, but in a way, too, it's something that, he didn't want to speculate or do anything in an area that he didn't feel comfortable with, but said, don't abandon your beliefs. Anything is possible, but at the same time, even with his gift, when he had something vibrationally, or when he told his brother Tommy about what, he felt about his new, at the time, girlfriend he brought over that became a fiance and wife, he didn't even know where that information came from. It was almost like an itch you have to scratch that I need to tell you this. I don't know if it means anything to you, but I just need to tell you this information. And it's the same thing with a lot of other things in the field. I'm more open-minded to it. Maybe I don't know why. Do I know what I'm actually hearing? Is that person? I mean, that's what lets you know that this was somebody, for me, more verification in the field of a true psychic. Is that he admitted all these, Clark Kent more aspects other than a Superman of like, I don't have every answer, and all your aunts and uncles are standing behind you in the studio, and I can talk to them at any time. He said it just doesn't work that way, and he never claimed for it to, and was very uncomfortable the majority of the time expressing what he felt or could get, and that's where it's like for a layperson like me to go, yeah, see, that's a little bit more subscribable to me. That it's hit or miss sometimes, but not 100% every time, all the time. He never claimed that.
Now, so at the age of 5, he was really a psychic. He could see and talk to the spirit. Did he get beyond that? Did he grow beyond that? Besides being psychic, did he get anything else? Did he become a channeler or anything else?
He talks about in his book that there were things like meditation and visualizations that he tried, but he felt that it was more important to him to have both eyes open when he saw something, because he always felt that he would miss something if his eyes were closed. So he found that not to be the best tool for him, as he described. So there were some techniques or things that others employ or utilize today that Peter didn't feel were right for him. So in that respect, less of the New Age, more of the beginning approach as a psychic and paranormal researcher. As he approached things, some things just didn't jive with what he tried them, or remote viewing, he said, didn't work for him, but he certainly tried it.
Did he try channeling? Did he try channeling?
Oh, yeah,
but
he
did.
was very uncomfortable with that,
as
he
really?
describes in his book. He only did it, and I found out, too, talking to his former personal assistant, that he channeled Captain Jones aboard the Queen Mary. That's on his DVD. He only did it 2 other times, and he felt that it was almost like at times, and he couldn't quite put it there, that it was like a person stalking you in real life, as to what that would be, that someone comes into your body and you channel them, and that the emotions and the feelings he feels from there, he wasn't comfortable doing it. So he admittedly, he did it 3 times, but those 3 times he just didn't want to do it again. Yeah. But producers, they would certainly go, oh, here, let's, and then he would do it, and then just go, okay, I'm never doing that again, and then somebody would get him to do it another time, and he'd go, okay, that was the final time.
Did you socialize with him outside of the paranormal? I mean, and outside of the book?
Yeah, again, met him in, that was April of, 2007. He passed away in July of 2007, and a month of that was him in the hospital. So, yeah, we only had the 2 tours and then the correspondences. And again, that was about detailing the agreement of the book and everything he wanted in the book. And then we had the meeting about how he wanted the book to go. And then, unfortunately, that was the only correspondences, phone calls that we had with Peter. It was about, the book, and not a lot of anything outside of the content of the book, other than just, polite, cordial conversation.
I was just wondering, when he went into restaurants or a bookstore or an old library, if the spirits, he would see them and they would want his help. Did he ever talk about that?
Yeah, that was on our final meeting, and that's not in the book. And he said it's almost like an AM/FM radio driving through Kansas, that you're going through the dials and picking up here's a frequency, here's a channel, and you only got a word or two. And he said that was at a constant, but over the years of his development of his psychic ability, that was something that not he could tune out, but get more selective on, or it was there all the time, cognizantly, just something that's always there, not rampant, but something selectively, like, okay, here's a message, and something that is that something you find?
What's that, hon?
With a psychic ability?
I'm not psychic.
Oh, well, I know you have things in your home. Is there some time?
Well, the thing is, the house is haunted. So when we do these shows, I play them back, and I have tons of EVPs. Now, some of them you can hear clearly, and others I don't even bother posting, because you have to really listen with the headphones. But there's all kinds of chatter and whispering that goes on during these shows. So after tonight, tomorrow and Thursday, I'll go over this video and see if I can pick out any EVPs that are happening. I love to do that. We started the show, this particular show, last October, and it took a little while for the spirits to get warmed up to this, and so now they seem to be doing this every show. So I'm hoping Peter will come through tonight, somehow on the video. And we don't hear it. A lot of times we don't hear it with our own ears. It's on the playback when I edit that I pick up.
Make sure, too, that everything's closed on my end, too, so we don't have, Sophia crawling through the door and you hear a little child's voice or something like that. So.
Do you have any recordings that you wanted to play for the viewers?
I have, let's see here. I want to see how best to do this, but I'll have to open up the speaker line for these. They're audio files. Usually I have them in for Sophia's show when she does like a tribute to Peter James. We have people call in. I have them in a host queue on Live Paranormal, but for this purpose, I have the files here. But what I have is, we were talking about, also too at parainvestigations.com, Bob Davis posted some that sound like Peter saying Jackie and Peter saying Sarah in the pool area of the Queen Mary. Now, these are similar in the fact that also too, Jerry Reynolds, he's a co-tour host aboard the Queen Mary, and he has some on video where he's the only one in the pool area of the Queen Mary, and it sounds very much like Peter saying hello, like that.
Oh.
And and he goes through the entire pool area and no one there at the time with him. So there are other vocalizations people have heard. Me personally, and also too, EVP that I personally captured after Peter's passing, and followed by other voices that say, separate from each other, Jackie, and they refer to her by name. And that was in the propeller box area in Queen Mary. So I was going to see if I could play those. I'll play this audio file and see if this comes up here.
Okay, talk to me again. I don't want to go away because everything else we did with love. I'm here to help you. Yes, you can find your mommy too. Your mommy doesn't feel like me. She'll rebuild love and life for you.
Okay, was that audible?
I did. I heard it. I heard her. Did you hear that, everybody? Did you hear Jackie's voice?
Let's see, because if you like it, what I do have is Peter's explanation of what a ghost is.
Okay.
EVP of Peter.
Okay.
That I believe is Peter, where you can hear a pin drop at the time in the propeller room, and we're just calling out, and again, it was based on a hunch from Mike Loop, who picked up on Jackie there, Captain Jones, something very distinct when he was calling out, and there was, the propeller room is situated right outside the Royal Theater, which is at one time the second-class swimming pool, which, by the way, I was saying, is where Peter actually believed that Jackie drowned. And in the video that Peter showed us in his
Can I just ask one question? How did they come up with the name Jackie?
Well, that's where it was on the Royal Theater stage, and that's where Peter was confused. He's talking to a girl named Jackie for the first time in April of 1991 when he was there with a videographer, 2 appointed security guards, and the Queen Mary. And he was confused by that. He's standing on a stage with seats and everything, layering up. And then she kept saying, I want to meet you in the other pool area. And so that's why he was confused by that. And so he turned to the security guard, does that make any sense to anybody? And they're like, yeah, at one time this was a second-class swimming pool. And that's where Peter James feels that Jackie initially drowned, was a second-class swimming pool. But she preferred the splendor and grandeur of the first-class swimming pool and travels there via vortex. And so that's where they went to the first-class swimming pool. That's what you saw in Sightings and Unexplained Mysteries, was the vocalized communication that happened there when Peter came in the room, started talking with Jackie, and she started to answer him. That was the audio I started to play for you. And again, that's from April 1991. That was a demo tape that he submitted to Sightings. And that's what, this is in the early days of email. And people phoning in to the show. The show had just started to launch. And this was something they played. And based on the feedback of that, led to Peter being the weekly psychic correspondent. They wanted to see him every week after that.
Nice.
They knew had email at the time. So email the network that much. So that's what you have. But the propeller rooms outside of that Royal Theater today, and just a theory was, let's try EVP sessions in there to see if we can get Jackie, because at the time too, the propeller room, you can walk in there, walk around it, and the entire compartment was drained at one time. And I was there with my wife, one of my wife's girlfriends, our niece visiting from Chicago and Sophia, so I was the only male present. And then you hear a voice say, like, speak to me, like that, like Peter would. Then you hear my voice very clearly. Then you hear 2 other voices, like an old-time kind of voice go, Jackie! And then you hear this other voice like, hold on! And then you hear a voice with an accent go, Jackie wants to speak with you. And it was right when I was asking about Jackie. Is Jackie here? And it was almost like people bringing her forward, like, Jackie, hold on, Jackie wants to speak with you, like that.
Oh.
But right before that, you hear somebody like Peter go, speak to me. And that's something that Peter always said when he hosted his tours or tried to get the communication started, was like, Jackie, speak to me, that type of thing. So,
wow.
So if you like, I'll go ahead and play it.
Yeah. So, viewers, John's going to play another audio tape here, audio.
Okay, yeah, this is, let's see here. This is where I, in fact, I know where I have it. Okay, let me minimize this. I know where it is. Okay, I gotta leave this one thing, come right back to my audio editors. That's where it is. Okay, yeah, so my Queen Mary file. Okay, yeah, again, it sounds like somebody saying, it sounds like Peter going, speak to me. And then it sounds, you'll hear me say, oh, that was Sophia. I was referring to like a cough she did. And then you hear, the Jackie, hold on, Jackie wants to speak with you.
Okay, let me know when you're going to start.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, listen, everybody.
Wait, that's the short one? Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, listen for that. Take the headphones out. That was so cool. That was only coming through one speaker. Did that come out okay?
Did you guys hear that? So tell us what was going on.
Yeah, again, that was the speak to me, and then the Jackie, hold on. But, Yeah, did you want to hear that? Peter's thoughts and theories on ghosts?
Yeah, viewers, do you want to hear some more audio from John with Peter? Let me know. I think they do. They want to see you, though, because you're still frozen.
I'm still frozen.
Yeah.
What is going on with this? So I'm telling you, Skype and I were never friends. My mom can tell you that one. Those guys, it just never worked. And let's see here.
Eric said to kick it. Eric Soul Searcher said to kick it, John.
Oh, Eric, yeah. We had the incredible session in the infirmary area, the Queen Mary. And that was just one night where they were kind enough to have my family aboard the Queen Mary, and Eric and Mike of OC Soul Searchers, the co-founders, just really loved Peter James's life and his career, and were kind enough, gracious enough to have my family along with them. And we started off in room B340, which Peter never felt was paranormally active, but they say is to this day, and was on Ghost Hunters as kind of a disappointment. That was everyone saw for the world. And he said, even in his book that came out even before that episode, that he's never felt that room was active. The real rooms are B474, where a man killed his wife and his kids there, Penny and Dana, and also too the room immediately aft towards the infirmary, where he sensed that a man had killed a prostitute that was trying to go out into the hallway, was stabbing her in the back. And he said those are two very active rooms that you can rent to this day. But he never felt anything in room B340, and that at one time was a Disney attraction. And so just within that in mind, we wanted to see and just see what was in the room. So as we went up there, let's see, I'm looking too for a refresh button of the video, but yeah, it's kind of stuck in that position. I don't know why. But yeah, as we were in there, nothing happened. We had the ghost radar, at least Sophia did, and nothing, no blips, nothing coming up. And then wait, maybe if I press that save button, see what happens. And then we went to Eric, one of the co-founders of OC Soul Searcher, said, what places did Peter James hold here? And I said, well, yeah, on his final two tours, again, we wanted to check out the pool, or the infirmary, because Peter really wanted us to get in there. And not a lot of people know that it's back there. It's closed during the night. They close it after 7:30. So we thought, okay, well, I said, well, just as a suggestion, it was something very important to Peter. He does have on videos that I have posted, that Bridget Emery taped of Ghost Fest 2006. Peter James lays out the true ghosts of the Queen Mary. and all the active rooms and all the active locations, even though, it's almost like Peter kind of saw in advance, no, yeah, right, I'm frozen. Sorry about that. I don't know how that happened, but hopefully it refreshes or does what it needs to do. But, so Peter reportedly in the video talks about the German POWs and the Italians that were in the infirmary area. And so, again, I was talking earlier about the bodies that were stacked there during the Middle Eastern crossing that died of heat prostration. And the ship was meant to house 8,000. They had like 14,000 aboard the ship. And that's why many of them perished, is there just wasn't enough room aboard the ship for people to have ventilated areas. So we thought, I thought, well, that just suggested this could be an active room. Peter really felt so. And so Eric and I, we all went down there with my wife Shirley, daughter Sophia. And then when we went into the infirmary area, nothing was happening at first. And then sure enough, we had the ghost radar out, the millimeters, K2s. We had them at two different ends of the room. And Marlene, one of their co-investigators, was in a totally separate area, and it tested a theory on my end about ghosts as well. At one point, everything started to light up, like the session did with Mike Luke and the other portion of the ship, of a session of that quantity and type, where there were tap replies. We had a guard aboard the Queen Mary with us that said there's usually nothing that happens aboard the ship. He's never witnessed anything. To by the end of this, his eyebrows were up and the expressive look on his face. And he gave chase to several, tap replies that we were getting in the area. Sophia, again, with the dowsing rods, would say, oh, somebody's, kind of over in this end of the room. And then right over that person's head, there would be a loud knock. And then we would get confirmation by the K2s lighting up. And they would all light up at once. It wasn't like one here and they were all together in a cluster. These are, 6-8 feet apart. And then, on the Obulist and the Ghost Radar, each time when the blips started showing up, we'd get the words German more than once. The word
really?
Wow. Yeah, and it was something of that magnitude that we had a woman come in, Alice, and then we're like, where are you from, Alice? And then the ghost or the Obulist portion would say Greece, and we're like, Alice, are you from Greece? And then the K2s would start lighting up, like, oh, Katie, Alice, you're from Greece, and it was something of that type where it was just something I'd never seen before of that magnitude. Verification for Peter, certainly, and just other countries mentioned and names as well. And then we'd ask the name verification. We'd get the tap replies, or we'd get the K2 hits. And that video is at ocsoulsearchers.com. Or at OrangeCountySoulSearchers.com. And you can see the footage there as well as we're all reacting to the hits, and they captured EVP as well. So just very interesting in that respect, and always something I look forward to aboard the ship is that verification, again, as a layperson, that don't always have that.
You know what I always wondered, a psychic, when they're near, when they know they're going to pass on, and I wonder, do they ever see anything, or do they know that, hey, I only have a few more minutes to live? Do you know of anybody, or did Peter James say anything about he knew he was going to pass shortly, and if he saw any family or anything?
Yeah, I get that quite a bit, and there is something too, and even my wife Shirley, we picked up on subtextually, and that was our final evening meeting with Peter. And I mean, again, to great stresses on his respiratory by the end of the evening, but he wanted to make sure that I understood every aspect of how he wanted this to be, how he wanted this to be, quote, his legacy, He let me know how he wanted the proceeds to go to his family. This is somebody that's still very much alive, still very much with us, but just talked about that. For his niece and nephew, He was married at one time. His brother Tommy, just how he wanted this to go. That he wanted the place that didn't have the steps, and of course, when I pointed out the fact. So you want to point out the fact that goes for your friends, and he pointed out, yes, that's very much a theme throughout this book. And they were my friends. I want everybody to coexist, not to be afraid all the time. That's just such a very rare thing for the combatives that, were the majority of who he actually dealt with. But that was edited content to the extreme of what they wanted to focus on, is happy to mount for those locations. But it wasn't the majority of ghosts that are with us are that way. And our loved ones, for the majority of the time, with us. And those that are there, if they act out, they're territorial or, again, have some kind of prejudice or abusive nature in life.
Now,
death.
Now, did he ever feel that when he did pass over, that some of the ones that weren't very nice, that were here, that were stuck on Earth, that he did help pass on, was he afraid that he might end up meeting them on the other side?
Yeah, I don't think that he had anybody that he'd ever dealt with in life, somebody that he'd ever be afraid of or reluctant to, relate with or ever be in association with again on the other side. It would, again, everything he shared with me those were his friends, and were ultimately his playmates, his kids. So, but the thing was, that connotation, again, it still resonates that my wife and I still share to this day, that, not a forewarning, but something that, not that it was going to be our final meeting, but he sure wrapped up everything he wanted me to know about his book, the chapter order, how he wanted the cover to look, how the content order should be and everything, and just really expressed to me his things, let Shirley and I know that we were going to have a great year, just all these other things that were, it seemed finite in nature. But also, too, I talked to Peter's best friend, and I asked him a similar question on that, and this has to do with psychics. I've talked to Mike Loop about this as well, and could Peter tell you things about you or himself and know about himself? I have a feeling, again, from that night it was so, but talking to his best friend, he told me that he knew, when his sister died, he felt that Peter knew. And then he said when his mother died, he felt that Peter knew. He could tell like a week before. He goes, Peter just knows something's going on. Something's happening. Sure enough, his sister dies out of nowhere. And then his mother dies. And then he said to Peter, at a memorial on the second passing, he just goes, Peter, did you know my sister was going to die? Did you know my mother was going to die? And Peter said, well, yeah, but it's not my place to tell you.
Oh.
That's where you look at things as like, okay, Deus ex machina, God in the machine. Is it, I have this gift and this ability. I can tell you something, but know what I do at the same time? When that happens, I take away those 5 natural courses that nature has provided you in dealing with death. There's the anger, there's the resentment, there's the denial, there's all the different things, and then there's the mourning process. Those may be a progression that no one person should be able to take away from you in preparing you past 3 of those steps, or 2 of them. Maybe there's something to that. That's what I pick up. Peter wouldn't let you know about earthquakes or different things. That was something he spells out in his book. He doesn't feel like that's something that psychics or mediums should be doing in the context of what they do with that. He was never comfortable with and shied away from within the field is, letting people know the doom and gloom and what's ahead type of things. He stuck with really the messages that people wanted to get across to you, and not if they had to do with something that led to closure with you or someone you knew around you.
Do you feel that he tried to contact you after his passing?
Yeah, quit giving me the chills.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm just joking with you. I've had, there's Empath On, there's Psychic Mike Loop, there's Debbie Constantino, Mark Christopher Nelson, and within 2 weeks of each other, and I got to tell you this quick story. Within 2 weeks of each other, I talked to the publishing CEO of Peter's book, Heaven Can You Hear Me? And he asked me, why did you do this book for Peter? Why did you get so passionate about this and do this? And I said, well, actually, I was working on another book about my adoptive father who was a personal Palatine guard for Pope Pius XII. He guarded him, like as a personal guard, and in Rome. And then, he had his doctorate by age 28 in economics. He was, financially just this genius, and came over to America with my adoptive mom. They adopted me, and then soon after, he developed paranoid schizophrenia. And then he, unfortunately, passed away in our family home, riddled and plagued by paranoid delusions and without family. So how could somebody so devoutly Catholic pass away so tragically and untimely? That was a book I was working on at the time, but I was going through his letters and correspondences to me as a child and seeing them get more plagued by delusion and talking about the neighbors talking to him through loudspeakers over the fence and the laser beams in the showers and all those type of things. It was a painful book for me to work on. And so for Peter to approach me with this book, I immediately agreed. And I said, because of that, I really want to do this for Peter James and get back to that other book. And it was upon that the publishing CEO said, if you write that other book, and I feel it can help so many other families plagued by, family members with paranoid schizophrenia, we will publish that book. So I got an instant approval for another book being published. So the next day, I get an email from Mike Loop. We're about to meet aboard the Queen Mary, and he goes, tonight, when we meet aboard the Queen Mary, I have something I really need to tell you about. I'm really excited about it. Just need to send you this quick email. So I'm like, okay. So I meet aboard the ship, and then Mike Loop immediately says to me, when we meet up, he goes, I spoke with my grandfather last night. He was talking to Peter James, who was smiling ear to ear, and they're really excited about this other book you're doing. And it was like, oh, okay, there's one. And then, so later that week, Luis Gonzalez has a party aboard the Queen Mary, and it's the first time I meet Michael and Marty Perry. That's the other ones I was going to tell you about. And so immediately I walk up, and I was like, oh, that's Michael and Marty Perry, of Psychic Investigators on Bio Channel. So I go over, and Michael's analyzing me kind of up and down with a finger on his lip and kind of sizing me up. And he just goes, I don't know who it is standing with you, but the guy is really excited. At first I think he's typing, but no, his fingers are closer to his chest, and he's frantically typing, I think it's your father, and he's really excited about this other book you're doing. And he didn't even know what it was, and he tells me this. Okay, so that's two. And then, of course, within the week after that, I do Pioneers in the Paranormal, one of Don Schei's events, who unfortunately passed away last night, the sister host on My Paranormal. And it's in Ventura, and Mark Christopher Nelson goes to speak. And I didn't know who he was at the time. I'm talking to one of Peter's fans outside. I come in to listen to a lecture, and I sit down, and he's doing psychometry. So he's got a number of items in front of him. He starts picking up a pair of sunglasses, and he's holding them. And he goes, somebody's working on something they've been putting it off for a long time. It's very painful to them, but they really need to do this for somebody. They really need to get this going. And this person's really excited about that. And right then, my wife Shirley starts nudging me in the side with her elbow, and she goes, I gave him a pair of your sunglasses. And he just goes from there. Okay, so that's the third person. And then Radio Rod comes out from Florida, and he wanted to do something aboard the Queen Mary, and it fell through. They needed all kinds of money, and all the logistics didn't work out. So I let him know about the personal home hauntings we were having at the time. And so he comes to our home with his team and starts going through the home, and it's where my father passed away in my old room, and then in our room in the vanity area was where we really had all these experiences. And, my wife was walking in and out of cold spots, the touches, we had EVP that were happening too. But he starts to walk in the house, and he goes right to my daughter's room, which was, again, at one time my room, and he just goes, here. And then he walks over the bed, and he does that there. But he goes back to my old room where my father had passed away, and he walked over towards the middle of the room, and he started to lay down, in the same position described in the coroner's report. There's only me in the LA County coroner that could have known this. And he said, I feel a coldness coming from that window right there. There was a broken window pane that was coming in. He ultimately succumbed of cancer that the neighbors say really got him towards the end. And it just really specifics about that. But he said, there's another thing your dad's excited about, and it's this other book you're doing. So that's 5. It's just been, when you're talking about that, and Peter coming back, expressing things to Mike Luke, and it's just, I sincerely feel that I'm, again, a lay person, but even when I was putting together Peter's book, and I was asked that on another show, it's not like you felt them over your shoulder, but something just felt like there was a sadness, because I just gave a speech at Peter's memorial like a week before. I finally get to putting it down on paper and really getting it out there. And at the same time, there was not a sad feeling of there is the feeling of loss, but there wasn't the sadness that Peter didn't understand that this book was in the hands of his fans now. There's definitely something that I'm certainly proud of, but at the same time, I know Peter knows this is out there, the verification I got, and these are proven psychics to me, every one of those.
Okay, the show is almost over, so let's do some EVP work.
Okay.
Okay? I wish I could see you. You're still frozen.
I'm frozen?
Yeah, you've been frozen all this time.
The world's worst flattering picture you can possibly.
Everybody likes it.
I got Peter James jackets here, his favorite investigative leather jackets. I have a copy of his book.
I know, but we can't see you.
I know.
Okay, I have some. Okay, we have some psychics in the chat room, and if you could unfreeze yourself, viewers. Let's just do the EVP session. It's getting late, and even though his video is frozen, we can still do the EVP session.
Yeah, I'll get both jackets on top of each other right here, and here we go.
Okay, so my psychics that are in chat, let me know what's happening, okay? Now, I've had this on, but nothing has happened. I don't know. It's up. I don't know. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with this. Okay, so I've had the K2 up. Let me turn the sensitivity down on this. Okay. Okay. So, okay, so, and I've got the Ovilus. So, should I turn the Ovilus on?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was pretty interesting.
Okay, can you guys, now we had this on earlier and this thing never stopped talking. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to hear this. Oh, there you are. Hi, John. Okay, so let's do an EVP session.
Here's the jackets all stacked up. I am right here.
Okay.
A copy of Peter's book.
Okay, John, do you want to start the EVP session?
Okay, Peter James, are you happy that your book is final and it's complete and now in the hands of your fans? I have it right here with 2 of your favorite investigative leather jackets given to me by Tommy, Grant, and Victor.
Peter, if you can hear John's voice, can you please come here close to us? Can you come into this room or in the room where John is? If you're still here, if you're still able to come on this earth, can you... I'm hearing something strange. I don't know if you guys are... I'm hearing oh, maybe that's the feedback. Peter, if you can hear my voice, can you please come forward? Can you please come into this room, either my room or where John is. Can you please speak to us? I have an ovilus. You can use that to say some words. I also have the this meter up here. If you let me know that you're here, those lights will light up. Can you please talk to us? I know there's spirit here. Can you please talk to us? Any spirits that are in my home, can you please bring Peter forward to us so we can talk with him? Is anybody hearing anything out in the chat room? Is anybody hearing any voices? Anything at all? No, the K2 is not too close to the TV. I have sensitivity set on this, and I turn it down to accommodate the television. So if this K2 goes off, it's because something is happening.
Okay, and I'm back on headphones, so it shouldn't be any more feedback.
Peter, can you please come forward and talk to us, please? John is here with me tonight. We've been talking about you for the last 2 hours. Everybody that's in the chat room here, they all love you. They want to know about you. If you hear my voice, can you please come forward? Can you please talk to us? I'm going to play this whole show back. I will play the video back, and I will be able to pick up your voice. If you don't talk to us so we can hear you, I'll be able to pick up your voice and do a playback on it. Can you please say hi to John? He loves you. Everybody here loves you and respects you. We think you're absolutely wonderful. How are you doing on the other side? Are you happy? Can you say hi to all of us? We want to hear from you. You're not forgotten. John keeps you alive. And with every breath in John, you will always be alive. Can you please talk to us, Peter? Please come forward. Any spirits in this room with us now, can you please bring Peter to us? Would you like to say something, John?
Yeah, Peter, Mike Luke is in the chat room. He's part of this. All your fans are here. And remember you and your career and what you held fondly. Do you remember the session that we had aboard the Queen Mary where we tried to contact you in January? Do you remember Sophia calling out to Jackie with you aboard the Queen Mary on your final hosted paranormal tour? Here again, your book is now complete and in the hands of your fans. Are you contacting Victor currently at your home in Los Angeles? Are you the one that is saying hello to Victor and turning the lights on and off in the bathroom? Oh, and two, the footsteps in the hallway.
So, Dawn said to mention Frank.
Oh, Frank Lucaros. Oh, hey, Don. Sorry to break the EVP session.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, he'd been on Paranormal Investigations with you on the Pasadena Suicide Bridge. I have that jacket right here with us today.
Okay, we have Ruth, the psychic, in the room. She said he's there. Wade said, I'm getting the name Dave. Ruth said Peter is here. Peter.
Are you Peter, is it David Watson? I don't want to go into a lot of specifics, but that was somebody that supposedly managed Peter, that I thought I heard something, but yeah. But took from Peter.
So, Wade, are you a psychic? How did anybody know about Dave? Did you mention Dave tonight?
No.
Oh, he says he has no idea why.
Oh, Wade might have known a little bit of that. That was a little bit of inside knowledge with Peter that, this person wasn't good to Peter.
Okay, Ruth said Peter is saying thank you for remembering him.
Well, I love you, Peter.
Peter, can you please come forward and talk to us? You know, there are a couple of instruments that we're using, and I know you're familiar, well, you must be familiar with. I'm not sure if he's familiar with the obelisk, but this here, if you start talking, it will pick up your words. Now all of a sudden, John, the obelisk isn't saying anything. Before, it never stopped. Peter,
Yeah, when we first started. Yeah, before the show, when you and I first started talking.
can you please speak to us? Can you please let us know that you're here with us? Anything that you can do? Can you knock on the table?
It sounded like a subtle voice. I see somebody in the chat room. And yeah, I see Frank Vaqueros in the chat room too. What location was that, Frank? I know Suicide Bridge, and then you're another one where there was Dave.
Okay, now Wade is saying, ask if an ex-child female. One of the psychics heard a child. We do occasionally get a child's voice on our video.
Yeah, that's not so big on this end. It was like a high pitch.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, okay. I can't wait to play this back.
And I do. I have the headphones working now, so there's no feedback on the speakers.
No, there's no children in this house. Only cats, me and my husband. Peter, please, can you give us a sign of your presence, please? Anything? Oh, that's my cats fighting. Stop that. We're all waiting to hear from you. Can you please give us a sign, please? Any kind of knocking or actually speaking with us? We would love to hear from you. Anything. The show is dedicated to you.
Ruth says that Peter's curious about the K2 meter. Peter, can you touch that? I saw a green blip on the screen just now. Can it cause any type of interference? or tap on that device. So a little green blip. Can you tap on that one with the big square antenna? There it goes. With the antenna. There it goes. Right next to you.
Oh, you
There
want?
it goes.
Oh, yeah, there it goes.
Can you make that more intense, Peter? All your fans want to see that. If you can really get that to Christmas tree light up. Oh, thanks, Peter.
Did he do it?
Yeah, there it's starting to. Let's see. I don't know if you touch the antenna, what part you touch to really make it green like that.
Yeah, I believe if he touches the antenna, you can make the lights go. Do you want me to do it and show you?
Oh, is it doing it on your voice?
No. No.
Oh,
I've got the sensitivity way down. It wants to do something. It looks like it's blinking.
yeah, it's starting to go into twos.
Come on, Peter. I know you can do this. Do this for John and all the viewers.
Ruth says she hears Peter laughing, and you're probably going to feel something cold in a minute, Noreen.
Oh, I got the chills.
That's what
Oh,
she meant.
oh God, I got the chills. Oh my God. Oh, oh God. Oh, bad. Haven't had those in a long time. Those are my
Yeah, Peter
paranormal.
messed with you a little bit like that.
Peter, those are my paranormal chills, and I haven't had those in a long time.
Yeah, Pete, you make that continue to light up? 2 bright ones for yes. Oh, that was 3. Oh, start to go. Oh, people are getting the chills. Oh, Don had a good idea. A question only I would know.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead, John. I'm gonna.
That's starting to light up again, but Peter, there was a question that Grant, your personal assistant of 15 years, had someone ask about anything that only they were thinking about and would know, and you knew that one thing. Can you tell us what that is? It was something they were eating at the time. And tap on that device and make it light up if it was purple bubble gum.
Oh, oh, it's getting stronger.
Wow, Ruth. Yeah, it was actually a sour red or a purple bottle cap. One of those candies.
God, and Ruth knew. No one else knew that?
Well, it was one of those bottle caps. It's Peter, what room did you have carte blanche to stay in for 5 years aboard the Queen Mary while you investigated? says you're making faces. Are you enjoying this? Are you having a good time? All your fans are here. All your friends and fans.
Oh, he's thinking.
Peter, is Jackie with you? Jackie aboard the Queen Mary, does she know you where you are right now? What is Jackie's last name? Well, thanks, Ruth. We've had some verification that Jackie and Pete does know where Peter is, and he knows where she is.